Dansez Africa musique.
Debout, debout, dansez, yeah.
Dansez Africa musique.
Debout, debout, dansez, yeah.
Dansez Africa musique.
Debout, debout, dansez, yeah.
Dansez Africa musique.
Now, the freedom to express one's opinion, which is embedded in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, is one of the most significant democratic tenets. Free expression of opinion is non-negotiable in a typical Western democratic setting, even though it is being tampered with, at times brutally, in some parts of the world. Freedom of speech remains sacred. A freedom of speech is one right which cannot be denied. That of the press is even more solid. In a purely democratic environment, press freedom is a synonym to democracy. This means in no circumstance should the media be stopped from reporting. Even when the media are enjoined to display enough social responsibility in the process of delivering, it is also uncalled for to seal their opening that supplies free reporting to the fourth estate. Journalists in this discourse are an incarnation of the media and subsequently press freedom. In other words, should people be denied their ultimate right to speak or express views, which of course would be anti-democratic, it should not be journalists. True, ethics would hold that journalists report more than whole opinions of theirs. But the same deontology gives media practitioners the green light to conduct commentaries, analysis, and editorials, what we would describe in scholarly language as advanced news writing. In the United States of America, journalists and reporters have gone beyond that and expressed the rest of their views through another popular medium, that is books. And so it becomes very common for journalists to author books that tell some of the stories their media organs cannot afford space for. African journalists have not been left out of this. Over the years, scores of great news reporters have metamorphosized into great book authors, tapping from their years of experience in a given reporting beat. For one thing, when they write, authors from news reporting backgrounds are usually taken seriously. The reason is obvious. Their news reporting job necessitates a lot of observation, and so they stand a better chance of making a good reading of situations. Charles Davies is an African journalist from Sierra Leone. He has lived in the United Kingdom for over 2 decades and is keen on world politics with an interest in what is taking place in the United States. And so since 2016, and with the coming of a new administration, Charles has paid keen attention to the relationship between the media and the president. In his book, Getting Trump, he diagnoses this rapport with interesting findings. So, what exactly has the author of Getting Trump established as the nature of the Trump-America media journey? What motivated the journalist, come writer, to work on this topic? Charles presents the book on radio today. He is on the show to talk to us about Getting Trump. And in his Meet the Media visit to the United States, he has decided to come on Apex One Radio. And so, this is Apex Snapshot. So, welcome to the edition. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. My name is Ernest. The show will be produced from Valsuch in Switzerland by Maxed Adjunct, hosted here in the studio by me. And so, Once again, welcome to the show. We're going to lay the groundwork, and when we come back, our guests will be joining us. Then the story of Getting Trump, an upcoming book, will be told. Do not go away. That beautiful piece of music has brought the time to 6 minutes to 8 here in the studio of Apex One Radio. If you're just joining us, this is Apex Snapshot, the edition of the 14th of August 2019. We're broadcasting from Columbus, Ohio, in the United States of America. And today we're doing the book version of the show. We're looking into a text which is about to be made public. It's written by African journalist from Sierra Leone, Charles Davies, who lives in the United Kingdom, but who is on the media trip to the United States of America. So Charles has decided to come on Apex One Radio today to talk about Getting Trump. That is the title of his book. What is this book all about? Just what is Charles saying in this publication? That is what he'll be telling us. Let's go now to Maryland and find out if our guest is with us. Charles, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you. Great show.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. You are just fresh from the United Kingdom. You're on a visit to the United States. First of all, tell us, how was the trip from the UK?
It was good. Direct flight was good, and we've been here, and you people have been good to us. Just been back from the VOA, some interviews and recordings there. Yes, it's been good.
Beautiful.
Been good. I'm going back tomorrow, though.
Okay, we wish you a safe trip. Well, before you go back, let's talk about your book and even yourself. Like I mentioned earlier on, you are a journalist. For how long have you been practicing this profession?
I've been in journalism for at least 25 years. I started out in Sierra Leone as a sports writer.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. As a sport writer, and how was your experience reporting sports? I know Sierra Leone is not so known when it comes to the game, considered as the king sports in Africa. I'm talking about football. So, as a sports reporter, what was your experience?
Well, Sierra Leone has evolved, and it keeps evolving. At the time, 25 years ago, so when we started, it wasn't as bad as it is now. So, So at the time, he was good. Sports was around until the war came back and came around, and then all the sports activities were suspended and
Right.
all this trouble. In fact, I left Sierra Leone because of the war, and emigrated to the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So that's how I found myself in the UK because of the war there.
Okay. What would have inspired you to get into journalism?
I've always had this inquiry in mind. I've always read a lot of books. I used to read a lot of books, and I think the main thing for me is trying to learn facts and the truth. And I think for me, those are the two issues that brought me into journalism: to be able to communicate the truth and the facts, to our people.
And you actually trained as a journalist in the University of Sierra Leone, am I correct?
Yes, I started there, and then I came to the UK. When I came to the UK, I went to London School of Journalism and did a few things, and then I had my master's there at the University of West London. So, yes, I read a little bit, yeah.
In what area of journalism did you specialize? Print, broadcasting?
It's print media. In fact, I had a magazine in London before, New Africa Analysis, and then Phoenix Magazine. So it's my specialty is print. I mean, I'll leave broadcasting to you guys. You're much better in broadcasting.
Just to mention that I also actually did print journalism, and I still do, because I actually write online. Well, we'll talk about that some other day. Now, tell us about some of the media organizations, apart from the magazine you just mentioned, that you worked for, and describe your experience.
Right. I worked in Sierra Leone. I started working for Liberty Voice, and that's where I started out. And then I later on worked at Christian Monitor. Actually, it was the first and only. It's been the only Catholic newspaper in the country. And then in the UK, I've worked for New Africa Analysis. Well, I was editor of New Africa Analysis and Africa Analysis before that, and then Phoenix Magazine. And then I've reported for, a lot of magazines and papers around the world. So and these are the things I've been doing for a while. I mean, with New Africa Analysis, we set up in the UK and had offices in South Africa, Uganda, and Sierra Leone. And I think we in fact collaborated with University College London in terms of the business plan and how to make an African magazine prosper in these days when print journalism seems to be really, really difficult, particularly in Africa.
Right. Now, in my editorial, I mentioned press freedom, which, as it stands, is a very important tenet in human rights. What was your experience when you were a reporter in Sierra Leone? Did you enjoy press freedom, or it was a kind of system that was hard on the press?
It's always been hard there, and it's still hard there. For journalists, quite frankly. They've got a law there. It's called the 1965 Public Order Act. Okay. It's quite a difficult law, and they can just round up any print media, or any media for that matter, at any time. Government can do that. And in fact, once I was threatened to be locked up. Then that was a big thing because of some anti-corruption drive we were engaged in. So it is difficult, and it's still difficult. Journalists are finding it difficult. And then also, I think one thing about the media in Sierra Leone in particular, the media is not as powerful as it could be. And the economic constraints there for them is so much. And then together with this 1965 Public Order Act that makes it difficult, and that government can clamp down on them at any time. It is a difficult terrain, quite frankly. Yeah.
We are speaking with Charles Davies. He is a journalist from Africa, precisely from Sierra Leone. He lives in the United Kingdom. He is on a visit to the United States of America, during which time he's using the opportunity to talk about his most recent book called Getting Trump. We will be finding out just what he has in this publication. He's live on Apex One Radio. The show is Apex Snapshots, and of course, the edition is that of the 14th of August 2019. Ernest Kanje is my name. Maxell is producing the show from Valsuch in Switzerland. Okay, so Davies, back to you. You started as a sports reporter, but then we feel you more in politics. Did you have a transition from sports to politics?
I think the politics came in naturally because of my idea of truth and idea of truth and fact. Because, Africa is a little bit difficult, quite frankly, particularly Sierra Leone. It's been a little bit difficult there the past 2 decades or so. So it's been, we have to, monitor the government, and that's perhaps why I, moved up the scale, if you like, to politics and reporting politics. Because someone has got to hold people to account, and that's what I felt I need to do. Even now, with this book, Getting Trump, is still, it's doing the same thing. Quite frankly, I'm trying to hold even ourselves, the media, to account, if you like, right here.
Now. You are set to belong to the British Labour Party. What attracted you to this movement?
Well, I am, if you like, I'm a democratic socialist.
Okay. And what does that mean?
Not in a way, perhaps, that people will label that, but I believe in power of the people.
Okay.
And I believe in certain things that align myself to socialism somehow. So that's why I'm supporting the Labour Party, even though I am not totally, I don't totally agree with what, is going on there with you right now.
Okay, so we'll find time to talk about that, but then we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will focus on the topic of this discussion, which is Getting Trump, a book published written by Charles Davies, and it's at the verge of being published. He's going to tell us exactly when this book will get, in the library and be ready to be read. This is Apex One Radio. This is Snapshot. Charles, just take a break. We'll be right back with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Better day, and a demi day. I'm not gonna come on day, no. So my day, better day, and a demi day.
Beautiful piece of music there from Sierra Leone, music dedicated to our friends in Freetown, the political capital of that great West African country, from where our guest tonight hails. His name is Charles Davies. Charles lives in the United Kingdom. He is in the United States of America, currently on a visit. He is the author of Getting Trump. I don't know if that is his first book, but he's going to tell us when he comes back on the airwaves. If you're just joining us, once again, welcome to Apex One Radio. Snapshots with Ernest Kanje.
Baby girl, you're the finest. You know you're the baddest. And And you know say I correct. Famous get connect. Sawale, 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 sawale. Sawale, 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 sawale. I wanna carry you go far away, far away. I wanna carry you go far away, far away. I wanna love you to go every day, love you to go. Yeah. You know I love to love you, girl. I love to love you, girl. I love to love you, girl. You know I love to love you, girl. Where money no day, only you dey my side. Where motor no day, only you dey my side. Yeah. You let them do juju, baby. You don't be me medication. Cause without you I cannot breathe. Without you I cannot leave it. You driving me crazy, me one and only. Without you I'm lonely, baby. Sawale, 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 sawale. Oh, be more. Sawale, 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 sawale. I wanna carry you go far away, far away. I wanna carry you go far away, far away. I wanna love you to go every day, love you to go. Yeah. Other girls may they come out, and I me do more. Now only you I want Baby girl, you the finest. You know you the baddest. And you know say I correct. Famous gets connect. You driving me crazy, one and only. Without you I'm lonely, baby. Sawale, 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 sawale. Oh, be more. Sawale, 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 sawale. I wanna carry you go far away, far away. I wanna carry you go far away, far away. I wanna love you to go every day, love you to go. Yeah. You know I love to love you, yeah.
Okay, this is Apex World Radio. This is Apex Snapshots, the edition of Thursday, August the 14th, 2019. We are receiving a journalist who doubles as a book author. Charles Davies is his name, and Getting Trump is the book he's about to make public. Charles, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Alice.
Now, tell me if Getting Trump is your first book.
It is my first book, yes. I've done a lot of magazines, but this is my first actual book, yes.
All right, and it's it's really curious that your first book is being written, about Donald Trump. We'll find out why. But then, for how long did you nurse the idea of this book before turning it into reality?
I've been observing because when Barack Obama took over in 2009, I launched my magazine then there in the UK. Mm-hmm. I launched the magazine in the UK. So I've been following American politics for a long time. So when Trump took over in 2016, I was observing also the politics here because I'm very involved in politics in the UK.
Right.
So I was observing it, and I noticed at the very beginning, before the nominations, mm-hmm. Trump was getting good media, if you like, And then once he got the nomination, I think things changed. And the media just went all out for him.
I'll come back to you, David, but just to find out, had you been following Trump before he launched his bid to run for the presidency?
No, I wasn't following him at all, to be honest. I was following yes.
Go ahead. Hello?
I was following the election process because I'm interested in election processes. Mm-hmm. So I was following the election process. That's what it is, not Trump per se.
Okay.
But then when he, as I said, when he became the Republican nominee, I was following and seeing, see how the press was reporting the whole thing, because I was interested in that. And it wasn't long for me to notice that the press is biased against President Trump, candidate Trump.
We will come back to that, but just to find out, what kind of literature is this book? Is it a story? Is it a pamphlet, compilation of journalistic pieces?
No, it is not. It is, I would say it will be categorized in the book section of Barnes and Noble, for instance, and Amazon, under politics and media.
Okay.
So it was, it's based on media stories, and radio, TV, and all sorts of things. So it's a lot of research we put together to be able to come to this conclusion. So it's not just my idea. It is what I think is happening based on the reportings from TV, radio, new media, magazines, and all of this. So we draw from all these things. I mean, if you look at the book, in the back we've got the index, and it's a huge amount of huge body of work there that tells you where we get sources from and materials from.
Did you work on this particular topic because you are a journalist, or you thought that the relationship between the media and Trump was, very significant in the whole politics of this, administration?
I think I worked on it basically because for my love of the media, first of all. Because I am a journalist, first of all, and the way things are going, I think it is not how it should go. I think the media are making a lot of mistakes. There's been lots of lies, lots of fabrications, and that's not the essence of free media. So if we are talking about free media that we all want, free media means truth and fairness. Free media doesn't mean bias or fabrication or lies. And I think for me, that's what it is. It's calling out the media, the mainstream media particularly, in the way they're doing things. Because for them, it seems to me they're determined to destroy the Trump presidency. At the same time, they're making a lot of money behind that. And all along the way, they're forgetting the tenets of the media, which is truth and fairness. That's what the media is about, truth, the facts. They're missing that a lot in what they're doing.
Now, I can get your point when it comes to journalists, editorialists, reporters, analysts, commentators, who work for a particular media, giving their own opinion or the opinion of the newsroom about Donald Trump. But then, when it comes to these media organs letting the people talk, the public talk, would you blame them if they take sides with those who are not in good terms with the current administration? How do you draw the line between the media organizations and the people out there who use this media to express their own opinions?
I think in fact, I think, as I said in the book and as I commented today, there is a very thin line right now between the media and the Democratic Party. Because it's almost their lockstep. The media is like an outpost of the Democratic Party, and they've got loads of pundits, people who almost all the time against another person. So it's always about opinions, people's opinions mostly. That's what they're doing. And the opinion of the Democratic Party just fuses in with the pundit's opinion in the media. So it's almost one and the same thing, the media and the Democratic Party. And I think that's troublesome for democracy because the media has got to be independent. Even if they are not independent, let's put it this way, even if they are not independent, but they're supposed to be truthful and fair. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I mean, you can report for your particular political party, but it has to be based on truth, because otherwise it's not media, it's not journalism.
So are you saying that the way the American media, the mainstream media in the U.S. Covers Donald Trump defeats the purpose of journalism objectivity? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. It's like gone out of the window, and that's also based on the fact that they've got too many pundits, people who are just Democrats, quite frankly, who are, they're putting their opinions there, and they're not really trying to vet those opinions. They just put it out there. It's almost they want those opinions out there. And, and I don't think that's very well, we have the same problem in the UK. The only difference is in the UK, the media there is not, the mainstream media there is not left wing as here. Mm-hmm. In the UK, the mainstream media there is right wing. So they are going for the British Labour Party all the time. So we have a similar problem. So this is not just about the US, for instance. We're just bringing in Trump at the forefront. But this is a problem for the media right now in developing nation. I think that is why the public has a very low opinion of the media just now.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm speaking to you as a journalist, and I know you're coming from a journalism background.
And I'm a journalist myself.
Right.
You know that.
So in journalism training, we are taught that objectivity is very important, and of course, a lot of African journalism curriculum in universities, are coined from Western. From Western
education,
education, and we are also taught that CNN, BBC, VOA, RFI, MPSN are kind of references when it comes to reporting. Now, are you saying that you are disappointed that these same references are defeating the purpose of objectivity?
Yes. I am saying that. I'm very disappointed with the mainstream media, CNN, even with the BBC, because with this Trump thing, they've all just gone overboard with Trump somehow, and they've lost all credibility with reporting Trump, and objectivity seems to be out of the window because you can clearly see the bias there. You and I know, you're a journalist. We know. One thing that's in the power of the journalist is the choice of stories. For instance, we choose which story we put out, and stories that favor us all the time, or you give it a slant that will, fit your own narrative if you want. That's what is happening most of the time. So we have that power, but we have to use it wisely, and this is where the objectivity comes in. Because if your choice of stories is always against a person, and then it becomes a problem. Because, there are so many other things happening. You're ignoring all of that. There's so many great things happening in America since Trump, I think, took over. But that's all been ignored. Now we have we had the Russia thing. Now it's racism. It's almost like nothing is happening in America. It's just about these terrible things because you've got CNN that's just putting these things out there. MSNBC, they're putting it, and then this is copied or followed by the international media, the BBC and the others. They just almost walk in tangent together to put out these things, and I don't think it makes money for them. It makes money for them. We know that. I mean, it makes a lot of money for them, but it is not what it's supposed to be.
You mentioned in the book that prior to his announcement to run for the biggest office of the land, Trump had good rapport with the media. Could you explain that? What do you mean by good rapport?
Yeah, say that again. I didn't get that. Say that again.
You mentioned that the media, prior to Trump becoming president, reported him in very good taste.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Well, Trump had a show, if I remember rightly. He had a show called The Apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
So they were reporting him. He was fine with them, and he was in a good place with I think MSNBC or so, or NBC. In fact, I think the program, his show, The Apprentice, was owned by NBC. NBC, I think, which owned MSNBC, something like that. But so he was with them. They were friends. Everyone knew Trump, and even political parties from the Democratic Party, they knew Trump. He was good friends with the Clintons because he was giving money to almost all of them. He was a businessman. I think things changed as soon as he decided to be president.
And that is because Trump had not yet become the political Trump you know today, and said some of the things he said that people didn't like, and all the controversies you know about. So would you blame the media if, they gave a U-turn and started looking at Trump from the other angle?
Well, the thing about this is the point, and this is what I said today, and it's in the book. Mm-hmm. The thing about the media, what they are honing down on, or keep banging on about, is what he said and his tweets. That's the main thing to them. Like, for instance, when this thing came out that he said something about shithole countries, I'll reference that because it's in the book, and it's to do with this Africa and other countries somewhere in South America when he talks about shithole countries, and they just amplify that in a way. In the same way that when he talked about Baltimore, they amplify that in a way to say, oh, it's racism. Mm. I don't think it's racism to talk about things that are not getting on well for us in Africa or African Americans here. Because if you can't talk about African Americans here when they are doing the wrong things, particularly politicians when they're doing the wrong things, then how do you criticize them then? How do you criticize, for instance, the guy in Baltimore there, the congressman in Baltimore there? How do you criticize him then if he's not doing things clearly for his people there? We cannot say everything is about race. And the thing about, I mentioned also in the book that with Trump, it's almost like the business version of an ecumenical abuser. He doesn't pick people because of their color to have a go at them. You can be black, you can be Asian, you can be Mexican, you can be anyone, and he will go for you. You can be anybody, he will go for you if he thinks that. It's not about race at all. That's the way he is, And the media always take these things and amplify it in a way because it fits their own narrative. That, he's a racist. He doesn't like poor people. He doesn't like, people. And I tell you what, as an African, I say to the Democrats, quite frankly, it's almost like they're saying, we own you, black people. We own you. You should not look at the other side. That's what I think we own you. And they have to change. The Democrats have got to do things for the people of the black people of this country. They're not. That's why we have problems in the inner cities here. You are here. I'm not here. I'm just reading things and doing my research and stuff. But there's lots of problem in Baltimore, in New York, in San Francisco. There's so many problems. With inner cities and the black populations in there. And black leaders have got to do more rather than just saying, he's a racist.
We're speaking with Charles Davies, journalist and author of Getting Drum, a new book which will see the light of day soon, his life on Apex One Radio. So you also talk of using bad publicity to Trump's gain. Yet we know that bad publicity works well in show business, not in politics. So what do you mean by that?
Well, take for instance now, we just got a report a couple of days ago that his small dollar fundraising is right up the roof. What that means is ordinary folks, ordinary people are putting a lot of money into Trump right now. So the more you go for him in the way they're going for him, the more people are liking him. You know, his base is really standing by him. And then independents are looking at it and say, this is not fair. So even that is getting support also from independents. And that's the thing about negative media, because when you do that, bad media, when you do that, it has the negative effect, if you like, or the opposite effect of what you are trying to do. Because while you are trying to bring him down, people are looking at it in a different light, that you're not being fair.
Okay. At the same time, while he's tapping from this bad press, as you mentioned, the media are using his name for brisk business. That
Yes.
you also mentioned. So it is a 50-50 thing. So why do you blame the media?
Well, the reason why I blame the media, because the media is our own. We have a responsibility to hold public officials to account.
Okay.
And we have to maintain some standard there in doing so, and that is based on truth and fairness and objectivity. And so if we are just going for money, and then it becomes a problem, is it? And I think that's what that is there.
Okay, this is Apex One Radio. You're listening to Apex Snapshots. We're broadcasting from the United States of America. We're going to have a very short break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Davies. We're looking at Getting Drum, a book written by African journalist Charles Davies. He hails from Sierra Leone. Davies is trying to look at the relationship between the American media and Donald Trump, especially the mainstream media. Okay, we're getting his findings, and like the author of the book mentioned, he's done a lot of research to come out with these findings. This is Apex One Radio. It's exactly 29 minutes past 8 p.m. in the studio of Apex One Radio. Same time from Maryland, where our guest now joins us once again. Davies, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you.
Quantitatively, do you think that the media covers Trump sufficiently, and they are doing so more than they did with his predecessors? Do you think so?
I think they're paying too much attention to him. Because in this age of new media, if you were saying you're just looking forward to his tweets, and he tweets something like 5-10 times a day, perhaps, and if you're just following that in everything he does, you will lose track of other important things. And I think it's not how it should be. And I think that was not what was happening with Obama, quite frankly.
But don't you think it is obvious? It's also because Trump is in the news. Trump says things, Trump tweets. So why would the media be indifferent when the president is, 24/7 in the news?
Well, if you say that, it means that he's putting himself there. And they don't have to put him there. He can't put himself there. If he tweets to his followers and his people. You don't have to. You're a media, you have. The mainstream media have got, like I said earlier, they've got the choice of what to publish or what to put out there. So they don't have to follow his every tweet. They can ignore him. But no, they always find a way to amplify those tweets and turn them to fit their own narrative, because that is what they think will make them make money from it. I think that's what's happening.
Now, since we're talking about objectivity and balance in reporting, I would like us to flip the coin on the other side. There is also a pro-Trump media that you know so well.
Yeah.
So, how would you assess their own coverage of Trump? Don't you think that it is the same mistakes you're trying to point out with the anti-Trump media?
Well, let me put it this way. There is a research. It's in the book there. A research by a reputable media organization, an independent media organization, that was looking at how Trump is being reported. And you know what they came out with? 90% or so of reporting from CNN and MSNBC and the like was 90% negative and 10% maybe thereabouts positive. While with Fox, maybe that's where you're going there. With Fox News, it is 40, 45, 55, something like that. Like 45% negative, 55% positive. That's how they. So that to me is like a fair balance, if you like, and that's coming from an independent media. So I think if you look at Fox and you look at, for instance, CNN, when things happen, CNN will go out there and have like 9 people, whatever it is, or so many pundits. All of them, including the presenter, him or herself, they're all on one side of the debate.
Okay.
While if you come to Fox now, sometimes, even with those clearly Trump supporting hosts like Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham, they make sure they've got balance. You got one from the other side and the other from the one from the Democrat and one from the Republican side. So somehow there is some balance, and I think that's what our research shows. While as MSNBC and CNN, it's almost they don't care about bringing balance into their production. It's almost we don't care about that. We play into our own base. And that's what they do, even with the night talk show hosts, And I think it's a difficult one. And basically, what I'm saying is, can you guys just come back to serious journalism? Quite frankly, because the American media is really polarized. We know that, and it's reflecting off the politics in the country.
Right. Let us come back to the protagonist in your book, Trump himself. He is a public figure. He is the number one strongman in the world.
Yeah.
So definitely he is a public figure who must be reported on and reported about. We've seen instances where he's hit back and he's said things about CNN. Don't you think it would have been wiser for him to just ignore what the media is doing and keep doing his politics? And don't you think that some of the things he said about CNN might have, provoked the situation further?
Well, I think it's a two-way street, but I agree with you there, and it's in the book. I advise that he will not take my advice, because I don't think he takes anyone's advice, quite frankly. It's a big man. He can do what he likes. But I advise that, he can do well by ignoring some of these people or these institutions that go after him, because it seems to be counterpunching, as they call it, to every Jack, Jill, and Harry, everyone he wants to respond to. As soon as you go for him, he wants to come back. I think, for me, it would be good if he doesn't do that. But he's not the kind of person, as they say, he's a New Yorker. they counterpunch, they fight back, But yes, he will do well by avoiding some of these things. But the media are also not helping because they are goading him. You can't be going for one man all the time, day in, day out. And you got people who are saying America is great. It's great. Can you imagine telling an African leader in Sierra Leone, for instance, where I came from, telling an African leader is an AO or something, or say something about an African leader like they're saying here? They can't. You can't say that in Russia. You can't say that in China. Even the UK, you be careful to say the things they are saying here to leader. You can't publicly say those things. You can't. Because they will sue you there. Your freedom of expression stops at the door of someone else's liberty. That's how it works out. You can't just say things that patently lie and expect to get away with it. You can't do that in the UK, and that's what's happening here. Some of they just lie. You lie completely, and it shouldn't. And then they said, we have the First Amendment right to lie. I doubt that that's what the First Amendment says.
Apex Snapshot's book version. Today we are looking at Getting Trump, a new book written by Sierra Leonean journalist Charles Davies, who is visiting from the United Kingdom. He is our guest tonight on radio, and with him we're trying to look at the relationship between the American mainstream media and the president. Quite an interesting work here, and we're learning quite much from this piece. Charles, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Great show.
What does Getting Trump seek to achieve? What are you looking forward? What are your expectations at the end of the day?
Listen, it's my first book. My expectation is that people, as I said, would look at it with an open mind. They will first of all get it. It will be at Barnes and Nobles and other bookstores, and then it will be in Amazon. There's also the audiobook, for those people who like to listen more than read. It's there. So what I'm expecting to get from it is that the media might be able to turn things around. Like I suggested there, they might be able to stick to the facts, stick to truth. Because I think that's the only way you'll be able to defeat Trump, with the truth. Not with lies, but with the truth. Because, they can't be carrying the lies that the Democratic Party wants to tell all the time, like the Russian collusion, for instance. They peddle that together with the Democrat leaders, everywhere they were going out with Trump is, that bad, he's Russian stooge, he's a Russian mole, you can't be doing that. Stick to the facts, stick to the truth, then I think you'll be able to get Trump. I think for me, that's what I'm trying to do, to try and get the media to turn around. I mean, even a couple of days ago, the New York Times is saying they're going to rethink the way they are covering Trump. Because I think from the headline they changed the other day, I think you know about that. I think they've decided that maybe we have to do things in a different way than how we were doing it before. And I think that's the best way for the media. They have to come back home, if you like, home to real journalism, home to truth.
You sound as though this book is targeted or targeting the American media. Otherwise, who else should read this book?
The book is for academics, people in journalism schools. It's for general consumption, if you like, for politicians, for the media itself. So it's out there, and then Trump supporters who wants to, I'm pretty sure they will take it on and say yes. Well, he's done good work for us. I hope, and it's not. My intention was not to do that. My intention is to just bring out the truth, because that is what my whole foray into journalism has been, to tell the truth.
All right. Now, let us look at the nature of this book. In what style is it written? Is it narrative, commentary, analysis? Do you have statistics? Do you have like charts, histograms to describe what you see practically and so on?
Like I say, it's pragmatically done, bringing the facts together. So it's almost an analysis of the media landscape in America. I compare it also to that of the UK, and try and bring them together and point these issues out.
Right.
That in the way they're doing it, because what I'm saying here is that the way the media is going, in the long run, it will be bad for the media. That's why the strap in the book is how the media is hurting itself, chasing the Donald. Because at the end of the day, if this continues, then it is going to look bad for it will continue to be bad for the media. And then at some point, someone is going to say, we have to regulate the media. Forget about the First Amendment. We have to regulate the media. Because they did try to do that in the UK. Because of the way the media, was carrying on. They had a judge-led inquiry there by Justice Leveson. He did an inquiry into the media there. That was when the phone hacking thing came on. They were hacking on people's phone, ordinary people's phone. It wasn't even the Prime Minister so much as politicians, but even ordinary people, they were hacking into people's phone to get information, to sensationalize their stories and get it out there. And, that it came to a head. The highest selling newspaper there at the time had to close down the news of the world because of that. And the inquiry went on, and the judge recommended after the end of the inquiry that the British press must be regulated. So I fear that if they don't change, at some point, that's what's going to happen here, because this can't keep going. It can't keep on like as it is right now.
This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. We are broadcasting from the United States of America. And on the show today, we're receiving a book author who doubles as a journalist. Charles Davies is his name. And he's just written Getting Trump, his maiden book. So a lot of Americans love to read, but that is not the case with Africans who are gradually losing their reading culture. So how simple is this book? Is it written in a way that will be better comprehended?
Yes, I think so. Like I said, I made comparison there in the book. The highest selling newspaper in the UK, for instance, The Sun. The Sun is written for grade 4.
Okay.
So that grade 4 can read it. It's that simple, but it's the highest selling newspaper, in the UK. And it's the same way that, like, Trump communicates, if you like, with people. You have to make things simple these days. You can't make it complicated. So it's not like an academic exercise in that sense, where it's really difficult to get things. It's just an insight into stuff, an analysis of what's happening, and a critique of the media.
How volume numbers is this book?
Say that again.
How big is the book?
It's medium-sized, I think, because it's just over 200 pages or something like that. So it's medium-sized. So it's not.
Right, that's good. Is it written in chapters?
Yes, it's written in chapters. I think we have about 15 chapters. You got me there. I think I need to look at it. About 12 to 15 chapters we've got, yeah. Some of the chapters are not really, really long, in fact, yeah.
And do you have things like footnotes?
Well, we've got an index at the end that we make so you can see what we were talking about, where we got all the materials from. And the reference is huge, so you can see that we try to get a broad section of material from all over, so it's not just one place.
On the cover of the book, we have Trump facing some people who look like members of the press corps.
The press, yeah.
Some skyscrapers in the background. Could you just explain this cover?
Well, the cover is Trump facing the media. Like, it's almost like the media chasing him there. That's what it is. Yeah, addressing them. So that's what the cover, we hope it depicts. Them chasing him, trying to get stuff from him, and that's how it's been, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. This is Apex One Radio. This is Snapshot. So we're going to take a last break. When we come back, we will run off our discussion.
Okay.
La yineke mona gankolo ngine mura yagima ngine nyamoko miri emato maberima ngine nyamoko mima ngine nyammo yarabiri woma nyaga niye woma nyagu gineyo ngine wotana mubareki woma nyaga niye woma nyagu gineyo ngine wotana mubareki alamane yo rabiye anu ngine mo fena kamudama do flow wotam anu ngine mo fena kamudama do flow anu ngine mo fena kamudama do flow la yamanya ngineyo awai kai matoba awai gala ngineyo una mabiri gineyo uma mere una maske gineyo tana mona umabe una matimpe ngine yayi ura pamape ngine ya mubanzana imura biri mayo ura fama.
That piece of music from West Africa, precisely from Guinea, is titled Tolerance by Fode Barrow. Fode Barrow is frontline artist in Guinea. We're broadcasting from the United States of America. It's Snapshots, the edition of the 14th of August 2019, with Charles Davies as guest on the show. He's author of Getting Trump, a book which will be published in the next couple of days. He's on radio today to talk about it. And from Maryland, he now joins us once again for this last phase of the conversation. Charles, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Who is the publisher of this book?
It's Defiance Press. They're based in Conroe in Texas.
All right. How did you get the publisher to work on this project?
Well, we after we got the manuscript together, after we sent it around, and we got some feedback from a few, and then we chose Defiance because we thought they would be better placed, and particularly based in the U.S. Because I think it is more a U.S. book than a U.K. book.
Okay.
So we took that.
Right. Does that mean you're going to target the U.S. market more?
Yes. It is the U.S. market. It's been advertised in the UK right now, and I'm seeing it's picking up a lot of interest there right now. So it's there though, but I think it is in terms of the comparisons that we made in the book between the UK and America. Yes, it is good. It is good for all journalism students and media personalities, but I think it's more suited for the U.S. market. And we, I think there is a follow-up to the book. Let me put it that way. But there's a follow-up to it.
Right. Tell us, how long did it take you to complete this book?
It took, we put it all together because it came from a lot of sources. Put it all together, it took about 6 months. But
Okay.
yeah, it took about 6 months, and then we have to get the timing right as to when to get it out. Then it took
Right.
at least 6 months to put it together.
Mhm.
Because it's from different sources. TV, online, magazines, and that's how long it took.
What did it entail in terms of financial resources to put the project together?
Not a lot. Not a lot at all. It's just I do my own thing and then doing it. So it's not the only thing now. It's the marketing of it, which is why I have to talk to all of you guys, to make sure it gets out there. It reaches as many people as possible. I think that's the main thing. The work itself is good, and that's why Defiance accepted it.
Right.
Now it's about making sure we reach the right audience and the right amount of audience.
Mm-hmm. So, when will this book be officially released?
It will be in the market on Tuesday the 20th. So it's next week, Tuesday, I think, the 20th of this month.
Okay.
It will be out. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, actually, to do a few interviews.
Right.
And
Do you have plans to do a public launching of this book?
Not really. I don't know how that's done here, but it will be out on the 20th. Not a big fanfare or anything like that. I don't know how that is done, but it will be out in Barnes and Noble's, Amazon,
Okay.
and other bookstores on the 20th.
And if someone needs to procure a copy of this book, what would be the cover price?
The cover price I think it's just under $23. I think
Okay.
slightly under $23. I'm supposed to tell you your exact amount, isn't it? I can tell you if you give me a minute. I can look at it. But yeah, it's slightly under $23.
All right, slightly under $23. You'll get a copy of Getting from.
And you can pre-order right now from defiancepress.com, and then, as I said, there will be Barnes Nobles and Amazon.
All right, and so the official outing of this book is the 20th of August. And like the author says, with just something like $23, you would have a copy in hand, which you would read and definitely enjoy. It's hard work, a lot of research, and you definitely have much to learn from the book as far as the relationship between the current president of the United States of America and the country's media is concerned. So we're about to go away, Charles. What would be your last word?
Yeah. I'll encourage your viewers to go buy the book and to have an open mind about it. Let them read for themselves and see what's in there. And I think they will come to the same conclusion that I have come to, that the media is hurting itself, chasing the donor.
Right. So just before you go away, could you just drop your contacts so that if some people are out there and would like to reach you, they could do that?
Yes. You've got my Facebook page now, isn't it? It's Charles. What's it? Peace. Get my Facebook, but you got Getting Chomp. It's on Facebook. If If you readers can like it also and then get some information and interact with us there. It's on Facebook, Getting Trump.
Okay. Right. So, Charles, I want to thank you so much for joining us on radio today to talk about Getting Trump, which is your maiden book. It will see the light of day officially on Tuesday, the 20th of August. And like you said, with something like $23, you're going to have a copy in hand. And so, our protagonist tonight has been African journalist from Sierra Leone, Charles Davies, who lives in the United Kingdom, but who is on the media tour in the United States. Charles, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And it's very, very good talking to you. Right. I wish you all the best with your shows.
Thank you so much. And do have a fantastic trip back to the United Kingdom. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
Our guest on Apex Snapshots this evening was Charles Davies, journalist and author of Getting Trump, a new book which will see the light of day on Tuesday, the 20th of this month. Charles was speaking live from Maryland, from where he's been visiting. Charles lives in the United Kingdom. He is a journalist, and of course, like I said, his book is out there, so as from Tuesday you can get it on Amazon. My name is Ernest Kanjo Maxwell. I did produce the show from Valsuch in Switzerland. Thank you so much, Mbole Kani, for joining us, and we wish you all the best as you keep listening to programs on Apex One Radio. I will be back on Friday with yet another edition of Apex Snapshots. This time we will be receiving urban artist Toki Lala. Then on Saturday, meet me again with another edition of African Fiesta. And until we meet again, it is bye-bye from this end. May God bless you.